Ogres, ogres, ogres. The alarm has been sounded in the village of Krexelkragg. 3 savage ogres have been spotted in the ruins across the river, and they are now beginning to lumber across the bridge towards Krexelkragg Keep and the Sacred Stone of Saffon. Commander Farell has responded to the call along with a handful of archers and soldiers to try to slow the momentum of the massive marauders. Will the humans be able to halt the ogre progress, or will the power of the opposition prove too potent? Find out as we play this exciting game of basic battles, super small skirmishes. Ta-da! Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming. What you see before you is a cool setup that we are going to be playing for our scenario called Ogres on the Bridge. Now this is a 1 foot by 4 foot battlefield, which means that there is going to be a lot of tight combat, mostly in the middle of this battlefield, which is a bridge crossing the river between the ruins of Krexelkragg and Krexelkragg Keep. Now over here on this side we have some soldiers that are going to be defending the Sacred Stone of the Keep from the ogres that want to come and steal it, and the ogres will be charging across this space. Now we have some special rules for the ogres, which we can go ahead and explain for you now. So here are a few special rules for our ogres. Each of our ogres will have a total of 6 wounds. There are only 3 of them, so we're going to give them a few more wounds. They're also pretty strong figures, so we're going to give them a little bit more hefty constitution now when they enter this battlefield. The next rule is this guy up in the front. He is going to have a cannon, which means that he is allowed to range attacks. The normal 6 inches for short range, 12 inches for long range applies in this game. For the rest of these guys, these 2 guys right here, as well as for this guy if he would so like, they are allowed to pick up 1 item for free at any time during the battlefield and carry it with them. It can be a barrel, it can be a sack of flour, or whatever it is that they find on the battlefield that is a smaller item. They can carry that with them, and they can also throw that item a total of 6 inches as part of their attack. So they have some kind of ranged attacks. 6 inches they can throw items. In hand-to-hand combat now, these guys are going to be given a +5 to hit because of their strength. So when we roll a d20, we will automatically add +5 to them in hand-to-hand combat. And because they are larger characters, they will get a d8 for movement instead of the regular d6. And the ogres will begin their deployment over here in the ruins of Krexelkragg. And over here on the other side in the Krexelkragg Keep, we will begin with the soldiers. We have 5 archers with our captain leading them off in the front there. They will have ranged attacks 6 inches, 12 inches long range. The rest of the 5 guys are simple soldiers. They have hand-to-hand melee attacks only. Each of these guys will have a total of 2 wounds. So with all of those rules explained, we are now ready to go ahead and roll off for initiative. Alright, initiative roll, here we go. We have the ogres with the red and the villagers with the blue die. And it'll be a 16 to 12. The villagers begin. Alright, first activation. Let's begin by running up our captain. A total of 2d6, 7 inches. And that'll be his final position there with some cover behind that chest. Second activation, let's go ahead and also run this guy up. 2d6. 8 inches. So that was our 2 activations. Let's head back now over to the ogres and let's run this guy up. He's not going to be out of range. So let's go ahead and roll our 2d8s and he gets a total of 8 inches. Next, let's have this guy also roll his 2d8 movement. That'll also be 8 inches. We can move him 7 there, and then we'll have him pick up this barrel, and he can carry this barrel along with him now in case he wants to throw it at some of the villagers. Let's see if we can get it to stay on his base. There we go. Back to the villagers. Let's go ahead and roll for this guy. We're going to continue to run them up 2d6, a total of 8 inches. And let's see, let's also activate this guy over here, that archer. 2d6, let's run him up into position 6 inches. Final ogre activation here. Let's go 2d8 and run him up. Yes, that's a good roll. A total of 13 inches. And for his free action, we'll have him pick up this sack of flour or whatever it is, concrete mix. So we'll put it on his base right here so we know that he has it with him. All the remaining activations now are for these guys. We have 1 archer and we have 5 other soldiers. I'll go ahead and roll off for them off camera and move them into their final positions. And there are their final positions. 1 guy making his way all the way up here in the front. 1 guy sticking behind to protect the stone. That brings us to the end of round 1, and here's how things are looking. We have our 3 ogres running up here, getting dangerously close to the villagers. Over here, we have them pouring in, however. We have quite a spread out group here. The archers are in the lead. Hopefully, they will get initiative so they can get some shots off. Otherwise, it looks like we might be in close enough range here to be able to charge. Let's go ahead and roll off for initiative. Here we go, initiative roll. The ogres with the red and the villagers with the blue. It's going to be the villagers, 9-7. Okay, I think I'm going to take advantage of our ranged attacks. We're going to roll off for this guy and try to get in some positions to take some shots off. Starting with this guy right here. Let's go 1d6, 3 inches. 1, 2, 3. We'll put him over here. And for this guy right here, 1 inch. All right, we'll just move him up 1 inch. Let's have both of them shoot from here over onto this lead ogre. So here over to here and here over to here. First archer taking an attack on a 2, defense of a 17, so that is a miss. Second archer firing with a 15, and the next one for a 10, so 1 shot goes through, 1 wound. Moving over to the ogres, this guy is going to charge on him. So we have a 3 inches plus a 1d8. Here we go. Oh, 10 inches. Because of the charge, we've got 2 attacks and plus 5 on each of them. So, whoa, 20 plus 5 would be 25 and a 7. Defense roll, even with a natural 20, that's not going to be able to defend that. So easily, 2 wounds go through, killing our archer. Second activation, let's have this guy right here move up and get in position to take a shot. Checking now for range, and it looks like, yes, we are going to be in short range. So 1d20 attack versus 1d20 defense. There is a 12 and a 5. 1 wound going through. Soldiers coming back. We're going to have these 2 guys right here charge into that lead ogre. This one is going to be an auto success. And let's go ahead and roll for the other one. Yes, no problem. First soldier on the top, we have a 2d20 attack and a 20! 20! Woo! The defense roll is going to be, oh no, also a 20. So we have to re-roll those 2. And we've got a 3 to a 2. So 1 wound is going to go through, dropping him down to 4. Let's just find it. There we go. Second guy coming into attack. Here we go, 2d20 because we charged. We've got a 13 and a 4, and the defense roll of a 10, so 1 more wound. Final ogre activation here. Let's run him up and see if he can get in range to throw his barrel. 8 inches, nice. Is he in range to throw the barrel? And yes, within 6 inches. So we're going to have roll off for our attack roll. And let's go ahead and throw an extra 5 on it because of the strength of the throw. So 7 plus 5 is 12. Here's our defense roll is a 7. No! So 1 more wound goes through. That's enough to take out that soldier. All of the rest of the activations now go to the villagers and the soldiers. Let's start over here with our captain here and have him jump up here and take a shot off on the guy in combat. So from on top of this barrel, we're going to be shooting down onto this ogre, and we have been using a house rule that if somebody is in combat and you are shooting them in combat, they have a -5 to their defense roll because they are so caught up in what is happening in the melee combat. So here we go, starting with the captain. He rolls an 11, and the defense die of a 1, a natural 1, -5, it's still a 1, so 1 more wound. I think we're going to keep on picking away at that same ogre. We have an archer here and an archer here. Let's move both of them up and try to get them within range here, short range. Starting with the guy on top, and we've got 5 inches. Jumping up on top of the chest now, he is going to take a shot over onto this ogre who is in combat. -5 to the ogre's defense. Oh, it's a 1. It doesn't matter. He misses wildly. It goes flying off over the ogre's head. The arrow lands over in the river. Seeing the massive failure of his friend, this guy is also going to run in and try to position himself for a shot. Let's go ahead, 5 inches up. All right, from this position, firing here over onto the ogre. And that will be a 6. Can we beat that? 3 -5. Yes, so another wound goes through. So that ogre is now dangerously close to death. Final 2 activations. We have these 2 soldiers back here in the backfield. Let's just go ahead and roll off for them 2d6 each and bring them up in this direction, preparing them for the next round of combat. So that brings us to the end of this round, and things are getting exciting here in the crunch point here in the middle of the bridge. We have lost an archer and a soldier, but this ogre right here has been whittled down to a single wound. These 2 are coming in quickly, rapidly, though they're going to be charging in. But we have got a lot of archers, and we have got a lot of soldiers left over to defend the city. Let's go ahead and roll off for initiative for round 3. And it's going to be 15-8. The ogres are going to begin. First activation, this guy is going to be charging over onto him. 3 inches plus our 1d8. Here we go. 6 inches. Is that enough? I don't know. We'll see. So that is actually pretty amazing. 6 inches is exactly what he needs to make it into that charge. Two attacks from the charge, +5 because of the strength. We have got a 20, not a natural 20, and a 16. Here's the defense roll of a 2. No, so 2 wounds go through, killing this archer. Second activation, let's run this guy up a mere 1 inch. Oh boy, that's not so good. He's going to come here, and he's going to fire off onto this guy. Measuring for range here. Yes, it is short range. Attack roll of a 19. That's a powerful shot. Defense of 13. So no, that will be 1 wound going through. The ogres are getting deadly close here now to the keeps. Let's go ahead and charge in. This guy will be an automatic success. He will come and stop that ogre right there. Let's have this guy also roll. We need to roll 1d6. 3. So that's a total of 6 inches. Let's see if that's enough to get him in. No, that's not going to be enough. So a failed charge is actually going to go back 3 inches. We'll put him right here. So we have the charge here, which means we got 2 attacks rolling off here for 8 and a 7. Defense roll of a 13. So those attacks do not go through. Over to the ogre final activation. Let's have this guy right here. He's going to swing into that soldier right there. +5 on the attack for the strength. That's a 9 and a defense of an 18. So he misses. All the rest of the activations go to the soldiers and the villagers. So let's have these guys right here attack back on the ogre. Let's start with this guy on the top. He's only got 1 wound, so maybe we can pick him off and this guy can charge into the other guy. So let's start here attacking into the ogre. Come on, we need a good roll here. It's a 19 and it's a defense of a 12. No! So with that, the Ogre takes his final wound and falls out of commission like this, opening up this guy now to go ahead and to charge into the other Ogre. So he's going to turn around here and charge right in. With the charge, he'll get 2 attacks now, and we are going at 14 and a 13. Defense die of a 16, so both of those attacks fail. Next activation, let's have this archer. He's not going to shoot, he's going to charge. 2 attacks on the charge, and we're looking at a 6 and a 6. Not very good. Let's go and roll for the Ogre. 15, so both those attacks miss. Final activations. Let's have our 2 archers up here. Let's have both of them run over here and take shots off onto this guy. Starting with our captain. 1 inch, so not very good. Long range attack, and we are hitting on a 3. No. Can we beat that with a 2? Yes, no problem. And our other archer up here, let's have him go down 4 inches. Shooting at short range for a 19. Nice. And the defense roll of a 3. No, so 1 wound goes through. So that brings us to the end of this round, and things are looking pretty good for the villagers. They have picked off one of the Ogres. They are surrounding the other Ogres. The question is if the Ogres are strong enough to power through this. Let's go ahead and roll off our initiative. And it's going to be 18-2, the Ogres. Ogre charge from here over onto that archer. And we're going to need a pretty low roll to make it. 5 inches, that will be enough, bringing him charging into that guy right there. 2 attacks, plus 5 for the strength. So we are rolling a 10 and a 22. So 15 and a 22, I mean, our defense roll is going to be a 9, so no. Second activation, this Ogre is going to direct an attack against this archer who is already wounded. Ooh, that's going to be a 20, not a natural 20, against a 16. So 1 more wound, that's enough to take that archer out of commission. And this is where everything is going to matter now. We are going to charge all these guys, try to get them into base-to-base contact. Starting with this guy over here, he needs anything but a 1, no, a 4, no problem, so he is in. Boom. These guys right up here, this guy might miss with a 1. Let's roll that off. No, so they will both charge into him. Let's start with this combat here. First guy, the captain, charges in. 2 attacks because of the charge, an 18 and 8. We are defending with an 8, so we re-roll that 8. 1 wound goes through, and it is 11 to a 6, so 2 wounds. Next off, the soldier that charged in, he also gets 2 attacks, a 16 and a 10. Pretty powerful defense of an 11, so 1 more wound goes through. Over onto this combat now. This guy charged in, which means he has 2 attacks. Let's start off with those. 2 12s, okay, and a defense roll of a 7, so 2 wounds go through. And final activation here, we have these 2 guys that are both attacking him. They were already in base-to-base combat, so 1 attack versus 1 defense. First attack, we are going to roll a 14 and a defense of a 1, natural 1. Second attack, here we go, 17 versus a 7, another wound. So end of that round, and things are going really well for the villagers and soldiers. We have 2 Ogres down to 2 wounds each, and they are surrounded. If we get the initiative for the Ogres, we're going to try something a little bit crazy, but that means we need to first roll off to see who begins. Okay, potentially final roll now for this game. We have red for Ogres and blue for villagers, and it's 14-6. The Ogres will begin. Okay, I'm going to try something a little bit different now. This guy right here, I'm going to activate this Ogre, and he's going to make a run for the Sacred Stone, which he's going to have 2d8s of movement if he's going to charge. That means, however, we get 3 attacks of opportunity, which could potentially kill the Ogre. So it's a high risk, but potentially a high reward. Let's go ahead and roll off those attack of opportunities, 3 of them against the Ogre. First attack of opportunity is a 10 with a defense of a 19, so that one misses. Second one, A 19 in a defense of a 13, so he takes 1 wound, dropping him down to 1 wound. Last attack, and we are rolling a 12. Oh, we need to beat a 12. 10, no! With 2 wounds going through, the ogre is cut down as he runs. And I think I'm actually going to try the same thing with this other ogre, so we have 2 attacks of opportunity against him. First attack is a 17. Man, these guys are rolling well. And that's a defense of a 6. No, that's 1 wound. And the last attack of opportunity is a natural 1. Oh, 20. Perfect. So this ogre is going to get free now with only a single wound. We'll drop him down to 1 wound left. And he's going to try to run his 2d8. 7 inches, not bad. So there we are, 7 inches. That is his final position. We wished he would have rolled 16. Then he would have been off of here and over by the stone. But that means all these guys now have a chance to pile in and attack. Let's have all of them roll off, charge in, and take some attacks. So there we have it. This is not looking good for the last ogre. He has only 1 wound left, and we have now 10 attacks against him. Let's just go ahead and roll off these 10 attacks and see if any one of them makes it through. It would be a miracle for him to survive this. So first one with 2 attacks, and we are doing a 19 and a 5. This could be it, folks. Oh, and it is. 19 gets through, 1 more wound. Well, there you have it, folks. Another exciting game of basic battle, super small skirmishes, the ogres versus the villagers. And in this case, the villagers did really well against those really strong ogres. Even though the ogres had the advantage in strength, the villagers clearly had the advantage in numbers. Their charges proved just too much for the ogres, and they were able to overrun them and overwhelm them. So do not underestimate the power of numbers against the power of strength. If you appreciate these kind of videos and you want to see more basic battles, super small skirmishes in the future, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and I will continue to produce more videos like this in the future. And most importantly, thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming for the future of gaming.
Basic battles, tabletop games for kids.